Hi, welcome to Cooking with Cori. I'm your host, Chef Cori Dern, and I'm also a proud media spokesperson for Foodland Ontario. Good things grow, yep, here in Ontario. And I know that some of your ears are bleeding because I'm not a known professional singer, but I am a darn good chef, and I'm going to show you something yummy from Foodland. So this recipe is actually a lovely salad called Turkish tomato, cucumber, and pepper salad. And it's very lovely, very easy, so easy to utilize the bounty that has grown in Ontario to make this salad. And if you're ever wondering, how do I know if it's from Ontario? You'll see a lovely little Foodland Ontario symbol there, and it's so important that you check your labels just to see what's grown here. Not just because we're proud Canadians and proud Ontarians, but because local just tastes better. I'm sticking to that. That's all I'm going to say. So for this lovely recipe, I'm going to start by cutting up my peppers. This is a yellow pepper. You could use red or orange, any color pepper you like. I went with the yellow because the cucumber is green, and I think that the yellow pepper is quite pretty. And so you'll see that I'm kind of cutting around the pith because I want to have as much of that flesh as possible without any of the seeds or pith to distract from it. There we go. I'm actually really quite proud of this because, as you can see, very, very little waste. And with this recipe, just getting rid of those seeds, I'm going to cut this into, I think, a dice so that everything is nice and uniform. And I tend to focus on the things that don't get mushy or brown quickly, and none of these really get brown quickly at all, but tomatoes can get a little mushy and more wet when you cut them, so I'm going to probably save that for last. So into my bowl right here, I've got my lovely Ontario bell pepper. Here we go. And again, I'm holding my hand in a guard position because I absolutely want to keep my fingers attached to my hand as opposed to lopping them off. And here we go, last pepper. And that's just what I always say. I mean, you hear me say this all the time. A recipe is a guideline. It's somebody like myself who took the time to write out something that we thought was absolutely yummy. You'll notice I'm cutting this into bite-sized pieces. The recipe could say a fine dice, but you want it to have a little bit more body or a little bit more chunk, then you do that because you are the chef at home. Next, I'm going to go with this gorgeous cucumber. This is the kind of cucumber that I don't have to remove the seeds. Field cucumbers tend to have a little bit of a harsher seed, and it tends to be hard to digest. So sometimes you'll see a recipe that says for you to remove the seeds, but when you have a cucumber like this, you don't need to. And for this, I'm going to do the same thing. I want all my bites to be kind of uniform. I want it to have the same kind of mouthfeel all the way through, so I'm going to make sure that I cut my cucumber chunky as well, because I like it chunky. There we go. Oh, it smells so good already. I love the smell of fresh vegetables. They just, you can smell the sweetness of the cucumber, and it just whets your appetite. I'm a person who absolutely loves salads. I could eat them all the time. And this one is absolutely a must for you if you're ever looking for what can I make, what do I have on hand that's absolutely delicious and will sustain me and make me feel good. This is that salad for you. It's great as a side dish. It's great as an entree. And as you can see, the flavors are so simple. There we go. Some more cucumber. There we go. I think that's a good amount. And now I'm going to add my tomato. And what I do with my tomato is I like to generally cut it around so that it's in the size of the bite that I want. And I do want this to be a nice cube, so I'm going to stick with that pattern because I want my tomato to be nice and chunky as well for this recipe. If I were cooking this, I would want my ingredients to be uniform as well because they will cook equally in time. As opposed to smaller things will get burnt faster. I mean, this is a salad, so it's fine the way it is. But generally speaking, the smaller bits will absorb the dressing a lot faster than the larger bits. I like to have it kind of mixed up. So now that I've got my vegetables right here ready to go, to it I am going to add some beautiful flat leaf parsley. It's really important that when you are rinsing your herbs, or your herbs, depending on where you're from, this is just a nice coarse chop, that you make sure you get all of the grit and the sand off of it, because nothing is worse than having an absolutely lovely, delicious salad and then biting into some grit of sand that you absolutely were not expecting. So I'm going to do my mint the exact same way, and oh, it already smells so fresh. Mint is wonderful, especially in Turkish cuisine. I'm just running my knife through. You can see I'm just giving it a nice coarse chop. And I'm going to blend these together because it'll make it a lot easier. And I think I'm going to get myself a bigger bowl, just it'll make it easier for me to blend everything together. And so I'm going to put my beautiful vegetables into the bowl. My cucumber and my tomato and my peppers. And to it I'm going to add the chopped parsley. Flat leaf is best for this recipe, but again, if you like curly parsley more, you go for it. Who am I to tell you? And now I'm going to add to this some salt, some pepper, and some sumac, which is a wonderful spice. It's very bright. To that I'm going to add, some lemon juice. Let's get that into the bowl as opposed to onto the table. And some olive oil. There we go. And then fold it all together. How easy was that? And you're done. And the only thing you need to do is just taste it to see if this has all of the flavor profiles that you like. Maybe you want to add a little bit more sumac. Maybe you like more salt. Maybe you want to have more cucumber or peppers, or have it heavy on one and light on the other. Or maybe do a rainbow. I mean, who wouldn't love to have a rainbow of color of peppers or heirloom tomatoes that you could add to it, especially when they're in season. And right here we have it. You could serve this with some crusty bread to enjoy as a side or as an entree. Thank you so much for watching this. This is our Turkish cucumber, tomato, and pepper salad with salt, pepper, and sumac, and a lovely lemon and olive oil dressing. If you want this recipe, you're going to want to go to foodlandontario.ca, or you can go to chefcori.com and check it out. Either way, I hope you enjoy this, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.